Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the dangers of doing half squats. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Alright, I was reminded of this again a few days ago because I was watching some guys squat in my gym, and these were guys that a while back I tried to show them how to squat correctly because they were literally doing quarter squats with one plate aside on, and they're clearly probably not even strong enough to squat the bar. And I tried to teach them some basics of squatting and try to show them about box squatting. I went into a lot of detail of how low the box needs to be, and I taught them all the problems of why it damages your knees, and they were trying to say, well, we do this way because we have bad knees, and they're guys closer to my age. And I had to look at them and go, but guys, the way that you're squatting will actually damage your knees. Doing a correct squat will strengthen your knees, but squatting incorrectly will damage your knees. And they were, again, basically doing partial squats. And what happens is that when you stop halfway down or a quarter of the way down, the way that it forces you to put the brakes on the movement, your knees jut way forward. They go way past your toe when you do it, if you half squat. And you're usually doing it with a weight that you can't handle, because if you were going deeper, you'd have to use a lighter weight. So usually it's a weight that you haven't built up the support structure to handle. And so then you're putting shearing stress on the knee with a weight that is probably 50% heavier than your max. And it pushes the knee way forward, and in the worst cases, and what they were doing, their hips actually and their pelvis actually roll under just as they put the brakes on to stop it halfway down before they come up, which can also lead to a lower back injury on top of it. And normally the squat is a lift that will give you an amazingly strong lower back and knees, and it will protect those things and build them up so that they're stronger as you get older and they don't degenerate faster. But these guys are doing it in a way that's going to hurt them. And test this for yourself. If you think I'm kidding, go take what you normally squat and take a video to the side and watch what happens when you half squat. And if you start adding a weight that you can only handle for 8 or 10 reps on a half squat, and you actually stop short and you watch from the side in a video, you're going to be shocked at what happens. Even if you're normally a good squatter, you'll notice that your knees are going to go 6 inches or more further forward than they normally do. And for a lot of you, you'll notice that your pelvis will actually roll under, and you'll lose a protective curve in your lower back as a result of it. So the half squatting is actually dangerous, and the strength and conditioning coach Bill Starr has written articles explaining this in further detail. But on top of it, what these guys were doing, because what I recommend to people is box squatting if they have problems sitting back correctly and keeping their knees in the correct position, or if they have bad knees, then a proper box squat is the best thing to do because it puts the least stress on the knee joint of any other lower body lift. And I'd explain to them that it needs to be very low, and I'd show them they need to be on like a 12-inch box, and instead they're coming in and box squatting on a bench that you would bench press on. They pulled out of the dumbbell section, and because that was too low for them, which is really, it's already about 8 inches too high, they were stacking boards on top of it that you use for board presses for your chest, because it's a powerlifting gym. And so these guys were basically squatting onto that and just barely touching it and still not doing a correct box squat, and they were only moving the bar about 8 to 10 inches before their butts would touch these boards on top of this bench, and it was just ridiculous. And again, the same thing, their knees were jutting forward. So I would recommend to you to learn how to box squat correctly. If you cannot squat to proper depth, or your knees hurt, or you squat in a way where your knees go forward, the box squat is a great training tool, so work with that if this is a problem for you. But if you want to protect your knees and you want to protect your lower back, you guys need to learn how to squat to proper depth, which means to parallel. And parallel doesn't mean the top of the thigh. It means a crease in your hip drops to equal to or below your knee. Learn to squat to proper depth if you want to protect your joints and be safe and check your ego at the door. Sometimes we have to admit that we cannot use as much weight as we think we can, and it's not impressing anybody if you're in there squatting in the gym 4 plates aside, but you're only doing half or quarter reps, when in reality you're probably only capable of squatting 225 or 2 plates aside, and that's oftentimes the case. So again, check your ego at the door, do it correctly, and you're going to be a lot better off in the long run. You're going to get a lot stronger, a lot bigger, and you're going to do it a lot safer. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you next time.